In 2002, a garbage collector in West Virginia won $314 million in the lottery. Within 4 years, he was completely broke. His granddaughter was dead from a drug overdose. His marriage had collapsed. And he told a reporter, "I wish I had torn that ticket up." This is not a story about bad luck. This is a story about a psychological exploit that financial institutions have studied, documented, and actively profit from. We carry a cultural narrative that says, if I just had money, all my problems would be solved. When we hear about lottery winners going broke, we assume they spent recklessly on yachts and mansions. The media loves these stories because they confirm a comfortable bias. Rich people are stupid. But this explanation does not hold up to scrutiny. Imagine tomorrow you inherit $2 million from a distant relative. You pull up your bank account and there it is. What happens in the next 30 seconds? In your mind, you are already solving problems, paying off debt, buying a house, setting up your parents. You feel relief, maybe for the first time in years. This feeling is universal. This feeling is also the beginning of a documented pattern that ends with that money disappearing. Here is what we do not talk about. This does not just happen to lottery winners. Inheritance recipients follow the same pattern. Legal settlement payouts follow the same pattern. Professional athletes, 90% of them face financial distress within 5 years of retirement. Even people who sell businesses they built themselves often lose everything within a decade. The statistics are consistent across every category. 78% of NFL players face financial distress within 2 years of retirement, according to National Bureau of Economic Research data from 2015. 60% of NBA players are broke within 5 years, per a Sports Illustrated study. The average inheritance is depleted within 36 months, according to an Ohio State study from 2019. Here is what does not make sense. Studies show lottery winners do not actually spend more than they won. The money just disappears. Athletes who earned $80 million over a decade did not buy $80 million worth of stuff. The cars and houses do not add up. So where did it go? Your brain processes earned money and windfall money in completely different neural pathways. This is not metaphor. This is neuroscience. A University of Bonn study from 2009 used functional MRI scans and found that windfall gains activate the ventral striatum, which is your reward and addiction center, the same region that lights up with cocaine use. Earned income activates the prefrontal cortex, which handles planning and valuation. Stanford researchers found that people given money in experiments spend it 2 to 3 times faster than money they earn performing the exact same task. The brain interprets a windfall as evidence you are lucky, rather than evidence you have money. This distinction matters more than anything else in this story. When you earn $50,000, your brain has built a complex model of what that money represents. 2,000 hours of work. 250 days, specific sacrifices made. When you win $50,000, your brain has no model. The number appears, but the meaning does not, so you treat it the way you treat all things without meaning, as disposable. In the 1990s, psychologists studying inheritance recipients identified what they called sudden wealth syndrome. This is an actual psychological condition with clinical symptoms: anxiety, guilt, identity loss, paranoia. The paradox is that receiving the money makes you feel less capable, not more. The clinical markers are specific: inability to make decisions, even small purchases trigger analysis paralysis, compulsive giving, saying yes to every request to relieve guilt, isolation, not knowing who to trust, identity dissolution, a loss of purpose if money previously defined your goals. Dr. Stephen Goldbart from the Money, Meaning, and Choices Institute describes it this way: sudden wealth removes the psychological scaffolding most people use to understand their place in the world. You have not changed, but your context has. Your brain experiences this as ego dissolution, the same psychological phenomenon as post-traumatic stress disorder. This matters because you are not making rational financial decisions in this state. You are making trauma responses, and everyone around you can sense it. Now we get to the part that transforms this from individual tragedy to systematic extraction. Financial institutions have departments that specifically track windfall events. Insurance companies sell lists of settlement recipients. Lottery commissions sell winner information to financial advisors. This is legal, documented, and systematic. Structured settlement purchasing companies buy your settlement payout for 40 to 60 cents on the dollar. They specifically target people in psychological distress. Wealth advisors cold call lottery winners within 48 hours. How did they get your number? They bought it. Investment funds with 4 to 5% annual fees specifically target inexperienced sudden wealth recipients. A Bloomberg investigation from 2013 documented that major banks have windfall tracking departments. They monitor lottery announcements, probate records for inheritance, legal settlement databases, professional sports contract filings. These institutions do not see a person who just got lucky. They see a behavioral pattern. Someone psychologically vulnerable, financially inexperienced, making decisions in a trauma state, with a predictable 36-month timeline before the money disappears. They have calculated the optimal moment to approach. They have tested the language. They have built entire business models around extracting wealth from people who do not have the psychological infrastructure to protect it. Let me show you exactly how this plays out. Not with a celebrity, but with someone earning $45,000 a year. Call her Sarah, 34 years old, dental hygienist. Her father dies and leaves her $800,000 from life insurance and a home sale. She has a dual-income household earning $78,000 combined. 2 kids, renting, $12,000 in credit card debt. Month 1 and 2, she is grieving, making funeral arrangements, handling estate paperwork. The money appears in her account 6 weeks after her father's death. 3 financial advisors have already called. They bought her information from probate records. She knows she should invest it but does not understand how. She feels paralyzed by the responsibility. Month 3 through 6. Her brother needs $50,000 for a business. She can afford it now. Her kids need dental work, new school clothes, a computer for school. Things she would have budgeted over 6 months, she just pays for the same day. Her mother needs a new car. She can help family now. First advisor meeting, he recommends a balanced portfolio with a 2.5% annual management fee. That is $20,000 per year in fees. She does not understand what management means but feels stupid asking. She signs because he talks with authority and she does not want to appear ignorant. Months 7 through 12. Her balance is $680,000. She gave away $70,000, spent $30,000, lost $20,000 in fees. She has not changed her daily spending habits. Still buys coffee and groceries the same way, but her relationship to money has changed. She is less careful because there is more. She gets rear-ended. Insurance offers $12,000 to settle. A lawyer says it is worth $40,000. The lawsuit takes 2 years. She quits her job. I do not need this stress anymore. Her $45,000 annual income is gone. Month 13 through 24. Now she is living on the balance, taking $5,000 per month out for expenses. It does not feel like spending because it is just living expenses. Balance is $450,000. Her brother's business fails. That money is gone. Their relationship is strained. A new advisor says she needs life insurance, annuities, estate planning, more fees. She buys a house for $300,000. Now her balance is $150,000. Month 25 through 36. The house needs repairs, property taxes, utilities. She has no income anymore. Balance is $40,000. Panic sets in. She goes back to dental hygiene work. 3 years after her father died, she has a house with a mortgage, broken family relationships, and less net worth than before the inheritance. This did not happen because of yachts and diamonds. This happened because of completely understandable, relatable decisions made in psychological distress. She did not develop the capability to manage that money. Capability is built through repetition, failure, learning at smaller scales. Receiving money you cannot manage is like handing someone a commercial aircraft because they rode a bicycle. Thomas Stanley studied this in The Millionaire Next Door. He compared self-made millionaires to inheritance recipients. 95% of self-made millionaires were still wealthy after 20 years. 20% of inheritance recipients were still wealthy after 20 years. The difference was capability development. The person who built a business from $0 to $5 million made 10,000 decisions at every scale. $100, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, $1 million. They built judgment through repetition. The inheritance recipient makes their first $100,000 decision with zero experience at the $10,000 level. They are not stupid. They are operating a system they have not trained for. Here is the thing nobody says. If you cannot earn it, you cannot keep it. Not because of some moral law, but because money is a skill expression. The balance in your account is not wealth, it is a score. The wealth is your capability to generate, evaluate, protect, and deploy resources. That capability was never in the bank account. The system works by making you think the number is the wealth, but the number is just a test of whether you have developed the capability, and if you have not, the system has 10,000 mechanisms designed to extract it from you until you are back at your capability level. This reframes everything. The lottery winner did not lose wealth, they demonstrated their wealth level. The money was never theirs in any meaningful sense. They were temporarily holding it before it returned to people with greater capability to capture it. This is why it is almost impossible to give wealth. You can give money, but wealth, the capability, has to be built, and building it usually requires the exact struggle that having money removes. If you receive sudden money, here is what to do. First 30 days, do nothing. Put it in a high-yield savings account. Do not invest, do not spend, do not tell people. Your brain is in reward center activation. You are not capable of rational decisions yet. Hire a therapist before you hire a financial advisor. This sounds absurd, but it is documented. People who process the psychological disruption first keep money at 3 times the rate of those who do not. Calculate your current capability level. What is the most money you have successfully managed continuously for 2 or more years? That is your capability threshold. Anything above it is at risk. Month 2 through 12, follow the 1-year rule. If you cannot keep a routine life unchanged for 12 months, you do not have capability clarity yet. Keep your job, keep your apartment, keep your routine, let your brain recalibrate. Invest in capability, not assets. Take 5 to 10% of the windfall and spend it on developing money management skills. Hire a CPA or tax strategist, not an advisor. Hire an estate attorney for a one-time fee, not ongoing management. Take courses on reading financial statements, understanding investment structures, consider small business ownership to learn to manage capital at a smaller scale. Fee awareness matters. Any ongoing fee above 0.5% annually is likely extractive. Index funds charge 0.03 to 0.2%. Wealth management charges 1 to 3%. That difference is the predator tax. Here is a counterintuitive move. Give yourself a small amount to waste. 5% of the windfall, completely guilt-free. Get it out of your system. Your brain needs to complete the reward cycle. Trying to be perfectly responsible increases psychological pressure and leads to worse decisions. If you are building wealth intentionally, this is actually good news. Capability-first wealth is more durable than capital-first wealth. Every financial mistake you make at a smaller scale is training. Here is the framework. At the $1,000 level, learn to make money decisions, spending versus saving versus investing. At the $10,000 level, learn to evaluate opportunities, good debt versus bad debt. At the $100,000 level, learn to protect wealth, tax strategy, basic estate planning. At the $1 million level, learn to deploy capital, investments, business ownership. If you build capability at each level, sudden money at a higher level does not break you. A person with $100,000 capability who suddenly receives $500,000 is only managing 5 times their capability. That is learnable. But 0 to 500,000 is an infinite scale jump. That is why it fails. The best thing you can do with a windfall is earn your way to the same level. If you inherit $500,000, your goal should be to learn to earn $500,000. Once you can earn it, you will be able to keep it, because by then it is not sudden money, it is just money. This explains why immigrants who arrive with nothing often build more lasting wealth than people who inherit fortunes. The immigrant builds capability from zero. Every dollar represents a decision, a lesson, a calibration. By the time they reach $100,000, they have made 10,000 decisions. The inheritance recipient makes their first decision at $100,000 with zero training. The financial system is not designed to help you build capability. It is designed to extract capital from people who have not built capability. Every windfall is an opportunity for extraction. Advisors who charge ongoing fees, investment products with hidden costs, structured settlements that buy your future payments at a discount, family members who see you as a solution to their problems. The system has studied sudden wealth syndrome. They know the 36-month timeline. They know the psychological vulnerability. They know the decision-making patterns. And they have optimized every touch point to maximize extraction before you either develop capability or run out of money. This is not a conspiracy. This is a market responding to a pattern. If 70% of lottery winners go broke in 5 years, that represents a $700 billion wealth transfer over the past 2 decades. That money went somewhere. It went to financial institutions, to predatory lenders, to investment funds, to people who had the capability to capture it. The uncomfortable truth is that capability inequality is more persistent than capital inequality. You can redistribute capital with a lottery ticket or an inheritance, but you cannot redistribute capability. Capability has to be built through repetition, failure, learning, and time. This is why universal basic income experiments show mixed results. Giving people money without capability development does not create lasting change. The money flows back to people with greater capability to capture it. This is not a moral judgment. This is a description of how skill-based systems work. If you want to keep money, you have to develop the capability to manage money. If you want to build wealth, you have to develop the capability to generate and protect wealth. The number in your account is just a test score. The real wealth is the capability that generated that number. That garbage collector in West Virginia who won $314 million and lost everything did not fail a moral test. He failed a capability test he did not know he was taking. The system gave him a commercial aircraft and expected him to fly it because he once rode a bicycle. When he crashed, the system called it personal responsibility. But here is what that framing misses. He was surrounded by people with commercial pilot licenses who knew exactly what was about to happen. And instead of teaching him to fly, they sold him fuel at 10 times the market rate, charged him landing fees at every airport, and offered him navigation services that pointed him toward mountains. This is the part that should make you angry. Not that people fail when given sudden money, but that we have built a financial system that profits from that failure, that tracks vulnerable people, that optimizes extraction, that calls the result personal responsibility. If you receive sudden money, you are not entering a neutral system. You are entering a predatory system that has studied your psychological state and built mechanisms to extract wealth before you develop the capability to protect it. Knowing this does not make you immune, but it gives you a chance. The cold open promised you an explanation for why sudden money destroys people. Here it is. Sudden money does not destroy people. Sudden money reveals capability. And our financial system is designed to extract capital from people who have not yet built the capability to protect it. The lottery winner who goes broke is not a cautionary tale about greed. It is a demonstration of systematic extraction from the psychologically vulnerable. Your defense is not to avoid money. Your defense is to build capability before you need it. So that if sudden money ever arrives, it is not sudden anymore. It is just the next level of a system you already understand.